call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
DNA, Casanello, Hager,
Yes.
Larson,
Here.
Schneider,
Here.
Ramirez,
Here.
Gallagher.
Here.
Okay, moving on to the agenda item. We got a resolution for the budget adoption. Shouldn't we be looking at the budget first, or is this for some type of changes in the 2023? No, it's not. Sorry about that.
Okay, so council, yes, today's meeting is basically for council to review and vote on the adoption of the FY 2025 budget. I believe I had sent everyone the memorandum that explains some of the changes, few changes that were done. There are not many, with the exception of two major changes. One, obviously, after the real estate adoption last meeting, of point 105. I went ahead and created that on the revenue side, what that would look like. And then on the CIP, I felt that per the conversations leading up till now, to try to make it better, streamline it, we're going to go ahead and just, instead of having that CIP fund expenditure line item, be broken down to particular projects within the CIP, 5-year CIP plan. You would see that on the last page of your budget. You would see that now 94,108 is no longer contains a balance of funds. It actually was split with 94,108.04, which is the VDOC Historic District signage, and 94,108.05 Town Hall Museum Security System. The remainder will go into that for 120,325, which, as stated in the earlier discussions, that is not even half of what the estimated cost to do the security project here for Town Hall and the museum would be. So we would still hope to be able to find funds throughout the year, or even look into reserves if that's something council wishes to pursue. Other than that, the overall budget, though, has not changed. From our discussions, it's still $4,098,946. You will also see, just to clarify, because I'm not sure we discussed it, but you will also see now the American funds will be tracked separately from the operational budget, as well as the development funds, which are the proffers. And that's being done just because it's easier for audit purposes. It'll streamline, it'll be a lot cleaner look. So we're hoping that will suffice some people's questions out there, constituents out there. I don't know if there's any specific questions. I'd be more than happy to answer.
Any questions?
I just need clarification. May I please? In regards to the capital improvement funds, and we're running those on a separate ledger, so to speak, to show how it's used?
No. So in the capital improvement plans, what we're doing now is that we're actually dedicated to a specific project. Prior, when we had the CIP fund expenditures, those for the, if you guys recall, the capital improvement plan for next year is about 1.8 million of works that we want to do. That kind of gave us the flexibility of being able to address any of those projects. But I feel that per conversations, I just felt it got confusing, and people, how they view that as a surplus, which it wasn't. I feel that it's a cleaner look to just directly appropriate them to the project in hand. What that does, though, is that it still gives us the ability to execute work, but if, say, we had to come to council because we got for example, the preparing of the sidewalks, if you could get a great deal while we have a contractor out here doing other work, and we need to move funds around, it would be one of those things where we would come to council and let them know we're going to make these changes. Obviously, you guys can dispute it or we can talk about it, but we would probably move funds within any of these line items specifically to adjust for that.
All right, thank you.
So, these sound basic, I apologize. So, in terms of the CIP dollars, in our CIP budget, we've reserved more or less, we could say, cash to be able to pay these out years. For the town center master plan, we have these, we're budgeting incrementally up through 2027, 2028. But if we were to step in and finance that, which is, we're still in July, we're going to have the presentation from the consultant.
Correct, yes. We have VACO, VML Finance, they're coming in to present on the July work session, I believe. I will be seeing them next week, so I'm sure I'll get to talk to Steve Mulroy and his partners, they will be a part of the conference, so I will be able to talk to them as well. But overall, they will come present to council and answer any questions or concerns you guys all may have as a whole.
So the more what I'm saying is that this is how we account for, if we're paying cash, so to speak, but our ability to move funds from ARPA funds, move money from reserves, move money from our surplus with a little s, and then or our ability to finance any of these options allow us to step in and move these in prior budget years if we need to, without having to come back and redo the budget. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I mean, again, the budget is also, it's constantly, it could change, it's, so yes, but this is the set plan as of right now, what we're hoping to accomplish, but obviously if the town center would require more than the town has in cash on hand, it would probably look into a debt, a loan, and to execute it fully, and that obviously would change when it comes to the CIP fund.
And we did that before, I think about a year or so ago when we did probably longer than that. Remember when we did the surplus, remember we came up with the 3 projects and we talked about what to do with surplus monies? I think at that time you had done a breakdown of the various options we could, or what we could pull from to go through each of those projects. Okay, just wanted to reiterate that is a possibility, that we don't necessarily have to keep to this schedule if it's appropriate to move something forward. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, thanks.
Okay.
Another question, for clarification purposes on this budget, could you please define surplus?
Yes, so the surplus,
So I said the less.
so the surplus capital improvement, the surplus, I'm sorry, I was thinking something else. So the surplus is basically any funds that exceed, when we have exceeded our expected revenue, and obviously whatever's left off the expenditures. So those are funds that the town has collected. We have worked within the budget, but obviously we receive more revenues. Once we go through an audit, they will audit to make sure that is true, that we haven't missed any debt, we haven't missed any expenditures where it should be applied to, and they were certified that the final surplus was basically coming, and the fact that we're receiving more revenue versus expenditures going out.
Thank you.
What I was thinking of is, so the money that we put into the money market, that was about $1.5 million. That was surplus dollars that we had put aside.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So currently the town has a 30% reserve policy that we try to adhere to, and that basically is that the town is supposed to hold a 30% reserve of the operational expenditures. So we do have that in more. As the funds you're talking about, last year we did come upon a few more surpluses than we intended. What we did is that we did a 6-month CD that was fully covered to try to get some of those interest rates, take advantage of those interest rates. So we have done that. I will be coming back to council with a report on that in this current work session. So we do have those funds set aside as well with the surplus.
Basically what those was we set those aside so we couldn't touch them. So I guess we need to decide before, if we decide whether or not to put that back into a CD, or whether or not we decided to.
So I guess we can talk about this. So if you guys remember, in October, November, council had given me a directive that as your treasurer, when we implemented that CD account, that going forward, if there's an investment opportunity for the town to continue doing, as long as finance liaisons were made aware of it and we reported to council, the town manager and I can execute that. being that the case, that loan did mature last week. We do have the ability to still take advantage of the interest rates currently. I had emailed our finance liaisons today. I'm just waiting from the okay from them, thinking that, and obviously I'm going to present it to you guys as well in July, but the intent is to do another 26-week CD at a higher interest rate. And reason being is because after discussions with the town manager and I, we feel that there's no need for those funds with the fact that we have ARPA funds and we have profit development funds still available that can, begin to execute some of the work when it comes to the park, the town center, and obviously the sidewalk. So we still have those funds. A 26-week CD, what it does, by December, by the time the new council is about to take over, we can then discuss, should we keep it going into that rate, depending on where the rates are at, or should we start implementing those on projects? So it would work out in the town's favor to do another 26-week interest rate, return on that, and then come December, look at other options as well.
I'm sorry, the purpose of asking all this, and I was going to do it during the discussion on it, but I might as well take it up now before we go to the vote, was to relook. I always sort of get confused sometimes we go through the budget, but we still have cash on hand. It's not always shown within the budget and others, so it would be, I think it would be helpful going into the fall that if we're able to take our 3 priority projects, again, break them out in terms of our funding options of each, see how that lays out. Sounds like the interest rates on that CD are, compared to our loan rates right now, it's probably advantageous for us to try to capitalize on that before we take out a loan, which could be, the rates are probably higher right now versus previous years.
Correct,
So, okay.
correct, yeah. And the federals are stating that they're still looking to reduce the rates. They haven't done so as of yet. They were supposed to do at least 2, maybe even 3 reductions by now, but they haven't. And honestly, I don't think it will happen until actually after the election is when we'll see that change.
I keep forgetting that there's a national election in November as well. Okay. So that would be my hope, council, is that after we get through this and we hear the presentation in July, hopefully in August, September, we can maybe sit down or have a workshop or have something else again that sort of starts to put everything in the boxes to move it forward. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any more questions? So we're good? Like I said, I'm not, a little confused on the agenda since we have the resolution for the budget adoption before the discussion of the budget. That was kind of our discussion of the budget, right?
Right.
Okay. So then, next in line, I guess, is the resolution. Do I have a motion or anything?
Yes.
Do we have to read the whole resolution in its entirety or no?
Okay, the motion on the floor was to adopt Resolution 2024-007. It's a resolution to adopt the annual operating budget and capital improvement budget, and to make an annual appropriation of the budget amount for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024, and ending June 30, 2025.
One quick question.
Yes, point of
Maybe
information.
protocol. So, because I was not here at the original vote, with 2 members missing within that vote, is it appropriate to adopt it this evening, or is it something that we should wait? I only say that knowing my opinion, but I was the only one missing on that night.
Well, this resolution is to adopt the budget, right?
Correct.
Not the
Okay,
tax.
not the tax, right?
Correct.
All right, just want to clarify.
I asked that question earlier.
The resolution,
Because-
the resolution before that, the 2024-006, is just there for transparency that that was adopted at the June 3rd meeting.
All right, just wanted to clarify, thank you.
Have we gotten any sort of feedback from our council members on the budget? Anything that seems like most of them?
No, I think they were all good.
No.
I think we're good. So we got the resolution. Do I have a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
And second, last chance for discussion. I'll open up last chance. Okay, so we'll put up for a vote. Roll call vote, please.
Pater,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Gallagher.
Yes.
So on that note, next item. Motion to?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Meeting adjourned.
Sorry about the better communication.
It's fine.